So real estate, what inspires you about real estate?
You get to meet all these different individuals, and there was a common theme all the time. All of them owned real estate.
Who you have on your team is critical.
The biggest thing is being patient.
A lot of things went wrong and a lot went right, but at the end of the day, we did it. We followed the blueprint and it's done.
There you
and
go.
It's built. Coach Carroll really has a ton of energy.
I joke with him all the time. He's like, hey, Coach, what do you want? There's a quote that I used to kind of go by when I played, and it's keep the main thing the main thing.
Colton's got to move off his spot, and now he goes down. Cliff Avril. Harner in the backfield. Wentz gets hit. Ball's out. Wentz sacked, and he's dropped again. Cliff Avril shot out of a gun.
Cliff.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I was too. Excited for this day.
Yes, let's make it happen.
That's for sure. Cliff Avril was born in Jacksonville, Florida, to a Haitian family. Before attending Purdue University for football, he was a four-sport high school athlete playing basketball, track and field, weightlifting, and football, the latter of which he didn't start playing until the 10th grade, which is amazing. So you started in 10th grade.
I was a late bloomer, as they would say, for football. All my peers were guys that started in elementary and junior high.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was a little bit late to the game, but it all worked out.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It was meant to be. After college, Cliff was drafted in the third round by the Detroit Lions in 2008, later signing with the Seattle Seahawks in 2013, and subsequently became a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 48, scoring a record safety 12 seconds into the game.
Yes, for all my 12s. It happened in 12 seconds.
That's
the irony in
wild. Is that your favorite play? Was that your favorite play?
It's by far one of the biggest plays I made. I mean, it's on the biggest stage, just the pinnacle of all of football, being able to play in the Super Bowl, but then to have the record for the fastest score is pretty unique in itself.
Also during his time with the Seahawks, Cliff had 34 and a half sacks, 13 forced fumbles, and a Pro Bowl player.
Not too shabby for 4.5 years.
Amazing. Cliff started the Cliff Avril Family Foundation in 2014 that brings awareness to type 2 diabetes for kids, along with the education system in Haiti. You can learn more at cliffavrilfamilyfoundation.org. That's amazing, Cliff, that you started that.
No, I'm very much proud of the work that the foundation's been doing. Doing a lot of stuff with JDRF, as you mentioned. We do a lot of work in Haiti. We do a lot of different things here in the city now as well. Different initiatives. So overall, it's all about serving and giving back. I'm a big believer in giving back, but more so, in particular, kids. Obviously, they're our future, so we gotta pour into those guys.
Gotta pour into our kids. That's for sure.
Most definitely.
I'm a newer dad. We'll get into that a little bit later, but it's a life changer. Man, I didn't realize. I thought I knew.
Yes.
I had no clue. That's for sure.
I give this example all the time when it comes down to the kids. It's like, you love your mom, you love your parents, you love, your wife, all these different things. But there's a different type of love that you didn't know you would even have for a thing, let alone this child when he looks into your eyes and you're like, wait up. This is a little me. This is a little. Oh, and I'm fully responsible for this little me. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Yes, fully responsible, and the love that you have, that it grows, it keeps growing. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes, it's unreal. It's unreal.
Then Champions of Change is a basketball game that Cliff runs with Michael Bennett and Doug Baldwin.
Yes.
They partner up to support different local organizations in Seattle that don't get enough light, really. Mm-hmm. Light shed for how important they are in the city, which is also amazing.
Yes. That goes to championship mindset, right? Michael Bennett, Doug Baldwin, all of us kind of got together, and we wanted to shed light on different organizations that, of course, we know are the big ones, and they're doing great work in the community, but there are some of these grassroots organizations that don't get enough love, don't get enough respect, I guess, for what they're doing, and they're very much needed in the community
and
as
attention,
well.
Just attention.
And they need the attention. So it's all about shedding light on them, being able to raise some funds for them, and all the ones that we have supported over the last couple of years. years have said their business and overall has grown a lot because people are aware and privy to what they're doing in the community.
Yeah, it takes work. It takes that work, getting out and doing
Yes.
it, and all the little things make a huge difference. So that's cool.
1,000%. I mean, community is everything. From the grassroots folks to all the the big organizations. All of it's needed to make a community successful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, it's cool. It's that you guys are making a difference. I mean, I went to the website and saw how many people are going and how much a difference it really is making. You know,
Yes.
you can see it plain by looking at the website and seeing it looks like a really fun time too.
It's a great event. I mean, but that also, again, and we'll dive deeper into this as far as for one of the reasons I stayed in Seattle, but you have people like Jamal Crawford, Isaiah Thomas. These guys are like Hall of Fame NBA greats, and they're literally a text message or a phone call away anytime it comes down to, doing something great for the community. So, it takes a collective effort to make an impact in a community.
Yes, it does. Yeah, yes, it does. I know Jamal played for like 20 years.
Yeah.
He played for a long time.
Yes, he did.
So-
Yes, he did.
Well, we'll jump right in.
Let's do it.
Cliff, thank you again for joining us. So start from the beginning. So
Yeah.
you were born in Jacksonville,
Yes, sir.
and then your family's originally from Haiti.
Yes. Yes. So both my parents, both Haitian immigrants, both of them came over in the 80s. They didn't know each other in Haiti. They're from two different cities, actually, in Haiti. And my dad came over in 82, I believe. My mom came over in 84. All honestly just to find a better way of living, right? The opportunity to work and provide and all those different things. So they came to the States. They both ended up in a city right outside of Jacksonville, on the west side of Jacksonville, called Green Cove Springs. And they connected, and they had little old me. Yeah, and I'm actually my mom's only child.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mom's only child, and I have an older brother on my dad's side. So
Okay.
it was an interesting dynamic growing up.
That's amazing. So, and I did see something that the Haitian culture, like you live the Haitian culture quite a bit.
Yes. So that's what I mean by it was an interesting dynamic growing up because in the household, we spoke Creole, which is the Haitian language. We ate Haitian food. Everything was Haiti and Haitian culture, everything.
Yeah.
As soon as I walked outside of those doors, now I'm an American. You know what I mean? Because I'm bilingual. I speak both languages.
Yeah.
So like the balancing act of both of those is like, hey, you're an American, but hey, you're Haitian. And then sometimes that would actually clash. Like sometimes I'm getting in fights with people because I'm Haitian, right?
Yeah.
And so it was just all around an interesting dynamic growing up. But I embrace both sides of it because that's just who I am. That's who I mean. Both cultures is kind of what cultivated me to be right here speaking with you guys.
Yeah, your story and your parents' story moving from Haiti is amazing.
Yes. I mean, just understanding again where my parents come from, understanding why my mom, I tell people this, my mom's sole purpose, my mom is number 3 of 6 kids. My grandfather chose her of the 6 kids to come to the States because she was the most loyal and the most hardworking one of all the kids.
Yeah.
They knew if she was to go to the States, she would work her tail off and still be able to send money back to them.
Loyal.
So, yeah, she's extremely loyal. That's my baby. And I try to spoil her as much as possible now because those days were very rough for her. Being someone that didn't speak the language, a woman coming to a country and just having to learn the culture and learning the way of things, but also trying to provide for those back in Haiti was very tough and shows how resilient she was.
Oh, amazingly resilient, especially to not be thinking about herself, but
Yes.
thinking about providing for her family back home.
Exactly. And that's why my foundation is so important for me, is because my mother always showed me that no matter how bad things may seem here in the States, there's times I come home and, the light bill's, overdue or, rent hasn't been paid in a month and a half. And I know for a fact that she's taking half of her check and she's sending it back to Haiti, right? So just understanding that, yeah, the light bill is due, but we still have lights. They don't have electricity back there, right? So perspective is everything when it comes down to, my upbringing with my mom.
Yeah, we really have it so good,
we do.
I mean, we really have it good, that's for sure. We don't realize how good we have it.
Yeah, no, we don't. Until you go visit other countries, until you go see what's really going on in the world, that's when perspective kicks in. That's why I think it's important for my kids. I've taken my oldest to Haiti with me just to get a perspective on, hey, the way we're living, the things we get to do, everyone doesn't get to experience that. Everyone has a different experience. I say this, you can think of some of the worst neighborhoods in America. Some of your worst neighborhoods. To some people, that's actually like the suburbs to them.
Absolutely.
To some people in certain countries, that's actually an extreme come up for those guys, right? So it is perspective. I'm not, and you can't ever, you can't downplay what other people are going through here in the country or not, but it's just all about understanding that things can be way worse.
Perspective
Perspective is everything.
Yeah, a couple of things. So when you were talking about your mom, my mother-in-law is from Thailand.
Oh, yeah.
She's 100% Thai.
Yeah.
She's a saint.
Yeah. I love Thailand. We went, that's a beautiful place.
Oh, really?
Too.
Yeah. She's an amazing cook. But she moved over. Her mom brought her, and her sisters stayed back in Thailand, kind of a similar story.
Sorry, yeah.
But then I'm from South Africa originally. I've told you.
Oh, really?
So I was born there. I lived in Botswana for a little bit, like out, middle. So but that's helped shift my perspective, So
I think traveling personally, if you can afford it, of course.
Yeah.
I think traveling is the best way of, one, education, but then two, like really seeing what's going on in the world. Because it's easy for us to get stuck in our own bubble. It's easy for us to just think about us and what's going on. But when you actually start traveling and you start seeing how some people are living and seeing what's really out there, it just gives you a whole different perspective on life. It gives you a different perspective on your circumstances as well.
Yes, it does. No, it's good. So how'd you and your wife meet?
Yes.
Can you talk about your family a little bit?
Yeah, my wife and I, we met at Purdue, actually.
Okay.
She's actually one of the first girls or women that I met at Purdue. We never dated while I was in college. Oh, we didn't date until my senior year, which was probably the best thing that could have happened to us. But met at Purdue. My roommate actually was a childhood friend that she grew up with her entire life. And he went over to get his hair braided or something like that. And I met her, and we were just cool and good friends ever since. And started dating my senior year of college. And she's the brains of the operation. She's an industrial engineer. She's doing her thing, yeah. And I'm definitely happy.
That's awesome. Well, I can relate. My wife's the brains of the operation too. And then you have two kids?
Have two boys. My pride and joy. Xavier and Xander. Xavier just turned 12. Xander will be turning 8 here in about a month or so. But yeah, those are my guys.
That's awesome.
We spoke on it. It's just one of those things. You just don't know how much love you can have for something or someone until you actually have your own. Yeah. Xavier, my oldest one, actually he's like my twin. He's my guy. And it's such a balancing act, because being a parent, you also, I don't want to say want to be a friend per se, but you obviously want the best for your kids. So finding that balance between parenting, but also being somebody that they can come talk to and different things like that is I think one of the hardest things to balance when it comes down to your kids.
Absolutely. I'm going to butcher this fact, but I remember reading this, and it was interesting to me. There's been a change culturally. I don't know if it's in the U.S. I don't know, but I remember a lot of high school kids were asked, "Who's your best friend?" And more than ever, I think more kids are saying their parents.
Wow.
So to your point, it's interesting.
It is. But I also want to because I tell my kids all the time, like, I'm here for you, but at the end of the day, I'm still your parent, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna tell you everything that you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what's best.
Well,
that's
a good parent,
right?
Yeah.
That's a good. So that's the balancing act, I think, of being a parent, but also being someone they feel comfortable coming and talk to.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a balance there, because I think to what you said, being their best friend, you got to speak the truth.
Exactly.
And if the truth means you can't do something or you're going to get in trouble, this is not good for you.
Exactly.
A lot of times best friends don't say that stuff.
Exactly. And
So-
I think I'd rather be your best friend when you're like 25 and like we're out of that learning stage.
Yeah.
And you'll be happy that I applied pressure or whatever case may be back in the day to make you who you are today.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's a better age for that.
Yes, 1,000%.
That's for sure. So what motivating factors that caused you to stay in the Pacific Northwest? What were maybe just one or
Pacific
two
Northwest
after your career?
is unique, man. Like if you're not from this area, you don't really realize how special this area is. Growing up, you think of Seattle, you think of gray, you think of misery, you think it's miserable, like, you know what I mean? Like, because, and I joke around, but I kind of think this is true. I feel like that's the image Seattleites want for the city because they don't want people moving up here because the summertime, it's amazing.
Summertime's amazing.
It's the prettiest place in America during the summertime.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I stayed is because of opportunities to grow outside of being an athlete, right? I give this example. If you think of, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, so you think of Jacksonville, you think of Tampa, you think of, some of these mid-markets, Cincinnati, the athletes probably are some of the highest earners in those cities, which is cool, but there's no room for growth outside of that once you're done as an athlete. Here, I joke around and say this, athletes probably don't come top 1,000, top 2,000, right?
Yeah.
Based on all the different companies and execs that are here. So for me, it was just more about growth. It was more about being able to figure out what that next chapter looks like, and being able to have people to lean on that don't necessarily need any financial, they don't have handouts, right? So
they don't need anything.
They don't need anything. They genuinely want to help because I brought the city a championship. I don't know. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But
Probably.
it plays a role. So hey, you might as well capitalize off
Absolutely.
of it. And that's one of the main reasons I've been fortunate enough to meet so many different individuals that can, that I can call and help me through whatever I might have going on. So I just think that the opportunities here are second to none.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. There's opportunities here. And I was thinking like with the growth side and who you spend time with, who you hang out with is such a big deal.
1,000%.
Your capacity grows when you hang out with smart people.
1,000%.
So,
1,000%. I joke with my friends back at home and it's like, man, every space I try to go into when I'm here in the city, most times than not, I want to be one, the brokest, and then two, I want everybody in the room to be a little bit smarter than me. Like most of my friends that I hang out with in the city are 45, 50, 55-year-olds. And I've been like this since I was a kid. I always like hanging out with the adults or the older folk because there's a lot of wisdom to be. All you got to do is listen, and they'll shower you with wisdom and experience and some of their experiences. So hopefully you don't have to go through some of the headaches they went through.
Yes, that's good. That's really good. That's really good. So real estate, what inspires you about real estate?
Again, I've been blessed to meet quite a few individuals that are doing some really cool stuff. Whether you talk about execs from Microsoft, Zillow, Amazon, whatever. Like you get to meet all these different individuals, and there was a common theme all the time. All of them owned real estate. I'm like, man, you made so much money with whoever, and you own real estate. Like you're not a real estate person, but you own. So I just started diving deeper into it, and there's so many reasons why. Whether it's a wealth generator, builder, it's very great on taxes, tax efficient. So for me, it was just, and then I was doing real estate when I played. I was investing in funds and different things like in syndications and different things like that. But when I got out and I started realizing all the fees that are associated with those things as well. And I tried a lot of different things. I did the media, I did, some coaching, I did all these different things, but real estate just kept calling me. And also I get to kind of dictate and I'm on my own time as well. I like the entrepreneurial space of being on my own time, not having to check in with anybody, and real estate all the way around kind of allows me to do all those things.
Yeah, no, that's good. You control your own destiny.
Yes.
No.
And it's very much like sports. The work that you put in, it'll pay off eventually, right?
Yep.
So I completely understand that you have to be disciplined, you have to work hard, and you can't take days off when you just feel like it. No, it's even on those days that you're tired and exhausted, you got to put the work in, and that's kind of what I apply to the real estate game.
Yeah, no, that's really good. It does take work. It really does. I was thinking every portfolio needs to be diversified, and a lot of people don't understand how many wealthy individuals or wealthy families own a lot of real estate.
Yes.
So stock market, yes, but now with the projects and the deal size that we're doing and that we see, there's a lot of those family offices own a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of benefits to owning real estate, all the way around. So yeah, I'm not surprised why. So once you dive into the weeds of it, it all makes sense. It all makes sense why everyone, they have a real estate a part of their portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts on the real estate market right now?
Yeah, interesting. I think this next year is gonna show a lot in a sense of, I think the last 12 years real estate's been booming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody seems like they're a genius, but now you actually have to work with interest rates rising. A lot of people had bridge debt, a lot of people have floating debt, all these different things. So now we have to actually work at this thing. It's not just pick a property and go and you can make some money off of it. Now you actually have to strategize and different things like that. So I think the market's in an interesting space. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for those that are sitting on some cash here in the next year. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities because of, like I said, the floating debt or the floating rates, the bridge debt, all those different things, especially in the multifamily space. I think there's going to be some great opportunities to be able to buy some trophy assets at a huge discount.
Yeah, fully agreed. There's, I started doing this a long time ago. I bought my first property at 23.
Oh, nice.
So a long time ago.
Nice.
And then started buying, flipping and buying apartments. And that a few years later was the big downturn, 08, 09 hit. And a lot of lessons from that time. But one of the ones was you can't be over leveraged. And
Yes.
a lot of times investors or people in general will have short memories.
Yeah. Especially once you start making a couple dollars, a lot. It's hard for people to stay disciplined to their actual philosophy when you're cashing out on certain things. It's like, well, guess what? If the tide changes just a little bit, now you're upside down, and that can be a huge problem. And most people can't bounce back from it.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good. How's your portfolio doing?
Portfolio's solid. Fortunate enough, I've always been a long-term type of thinker when it comes, especially when it comes down to real estate, but in general. And I'm big on fixed debt. I still don't understand why some would do floating rates or anything like that, but I'm big on fixed debt. So, but yeah, overall portfolio's doing fine. I'm ready for the next wave of opportunities. I'm still looking. It's a numbers game at the end of the day, and I'm sticking to my criteria. I'm sticking to what I have learned that works best for me. I need some I need some assets that cash flow. I need some assets that will appreciate over time, and I need value add assets. So I'm still looking for all those opportunities, and I think they will present themselves real soon. But overall, portfolio is doing really well. Got a few projects going right now that I'm extremely excited about. And, we'll see how it shakes out. Yeah,
no, that's really good. Yeah. A few of the principles that you mentioned are really pillars on the real estate investing side. The long-term thinking is huge. A lot of people don't understand that. If you're in it for the long haul and you do think long-term, that's where you get the most appreciation. That's where you pay off the debt the quicker. You have less fees, which you mentioned. All those things are huge. And the debt side. If you have your debt for longer too, you gives you time to make the decisions you need to make.
Exactly, and you don't have to necessarily you don't have to chase cycles as much either, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because in between time, there's things it can get rocky, right? But if you can imagine someone that had just 3-year debt back in 2020. Now you're looking at it like, oh, wow, this whole refi situation doesn't look as appealing. But
Absolutely.
if you had 7 or 10-year debt, you can ride this wave out and hopefully, it's on the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
So I just think that you have to have a long-term approach. But what I've realized with real estate in general, outside of even being a long-term approach, is being patient. You have to be patient. Things take time. I give the example all the time of like Amazon. It took Amazon 40 years to get to where it's at right now. Microsoft, it took it 20 to 35 years or something crazy like that to get where it's at. And then just from a self-observation and self-reflection, it took me 16 years before I actually made some real money in the NFL or got paid to play football, right? Where it was like, okay, I can buy my mom a house now. You know what I mean? So like things take time. But we live in such a microwave society now where we only look at the end result, but we don't look at the process of what it took to get there. You know, so you have to be patient in the real estate game as well.
Well, you can put me in that bucket because I'm going on 2 decades, and it's true.
Yeah.
It's like if you're patient, you surround yourself with the right people, but if you are patient, you make clearer, better decisions.
Yes.
So learn before you pull the trigger.
Yes.
I have a sign, sharpen the axe, that in my office.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people just want to swing.
Yeah, no, sharpen the axe, one
time.
swing. Yes, sir.
Take your time. No, that's really good. So why focus on value-add multifamily?
I think value-add multifamily is just taking a little bit more control over valuation, right? Being able to buy an asset at a discount, a distressed asset at a discount, and being able to force your own appreciation, I think speeds up, as I just said, being patient, but it speeds up the appreciation side of it, right? Being able to do it yourself, being able to make sure you calculate and make sure you have all your numbers correctly, but being able to force appreciation yourself, I think, is huge to an asset. On top of the fact that you're going to hold on to it long term, anyways, right? So I think it's just a great space to be in. But now there's more work that goes into it. Obviously, you got to deal with contractors and everything else that goes with that. But I just think it's a great space to be in. I also believe, like I said, that there's going to be opportunities to be able to buy some trophy assets now, where you might not necessarily need to add value because you're already getting it at a discount, right?
Absolutely.
So I think those opportunities will present themselves a little bit as well here in the near future.
Fully agreed, especially with construction costs being where they're at, for sure. Being able to buy assets at a discount, some trophy assets, for sure. I fully agree. There's gonna be some great opportunities, for sure, to buy those.
And I'll be right here waiting.
No, it's a good space, and it's true. It's like on the value add side, buying low.
Yep.
Being able to buy low and get a great deal.
Yep.
And find and pick and choose and be patient.
Exactly.
That's for sure what it's about. So, what are some of the projects you're working on currently?
Yes. Oh man, we have a couple of different projects going on. So part of my business model is we do flip single family homes. So I'll build, we build one every 18 to 24 months. We try to build a single family home. And with the single family home, we flip those, and I go buy multifamily assets in different regions of the United States or whatnot. But so we have one going up right now in Medina, which is one of the richest cities, towns
Absolutely.
in America, right? So, once you get on the construction side of things, you start to see how much things cost and then how much things are selling for. You're like, oh, there's some profit to be made there. So we have a project going on in Medina. We have a development, actually, that I've been working on for 2.5 years now in the city of Seattle, in Cap Hill, actually, that we've been working on through entitlement process. But we're taking our time because things have gotten so much expensive. So we're taking our time on that. Fortunately enough, we bought it right. There's already an apartment building that's on the property now. So it kind of takes care of itself. So, we can take our time with that. And then I have a couple assets that I'm looking to purchase in Jacksonville, Florida, actually right now. So, yeah, we're gradually, we're sticking to our guns. I think that's the biggest thing. When things get crazy or when things are going well, you don't waver. You don't go up and down.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned that from football. We're up 20 or we're down 20. You got to keep the same attitude. You got to just can't waver, can't get too high, can't get too low. You got to continue to just keep moving forward. And that's kind of my approach with real estate as well.
That's really good. Yeah, I'm actually reading a book called Principles right now, and it's like you got to stick to your principles. So that's really good. And it actually brings it to the next question on what markets you're in right now or interested in.
So we have a few projects here in Seattle. Those are anything development-wise, I feel like you have to be close to them. So I would never do a development on the other side of, trying to do. My team's not that big yet, So, but we're here in Seattle. Got some stuff in Chicago as well. Actually, one of the first places I started investing in because I had a solid team there. We have some stuff in Huntsville, Alabama as well, which is probably my best performing asset right now. And then I'm looking to get into the Jacksonville area, like I just mentioned. Hometown, but also Florida in general has been booming.
Absolutely.
Jacksonville in particular. There's a lot of cool things going on out there. I'm very much in touch with kind of what's the development that's going on out there, and it's also cool to kind of just own some stuff in the same city you kind of grew up in.
Absolutely, yeah, I fully agree. But yeah, it's important to know the drivers. What's the drivers in the local economy?
Exactly.
It's like here, a lot of the big tech companies.
Yeah.
Amazon's a big driver.
Yes.
Microsoft's a big driver. So, no, that's good. And hometown.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
You gotta have those population growth. You talk about job growth. You have to have all those different elements to make it make sense. Now, it gets a little bit more competitive in those markets as well because you're not the only one. But if you can find the right ones, the off-market deals and different things like that, you can there's money to be made for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's a growing market.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's key. The market is key. The location is key. Those are good. Those are really good. So as a portfolio grows, this question I was going to ask: who you have on your team is critical.
Most definitely.
Team is huge. So how do you spot talent? Talking about people for a minute.
Yeah, no. Well, with real estate in general, what I've come to realize is real estate is very much like football in the sense of it's a team sport. Everyone is needed to have success in football. We all think of just the quarterback, but guess what? If those 5 guys up front don't block for him, he ain't worth nothing.
Yeah, sack.
He's getting sacked, right? He has a bunch of Cliff Avrils running after him, right? But also, on the defensive side, if the guy next to me, Michael Bennett, for example, doesn't run the right play, he hurts the defense, but he also hurts me. So it's the same thing with real estate in the sense of making sure that your team is right. Right now, for me in particular, I have just one person that actually works for me, which is my assistant. Yeah. But then, you have other folks that are contractors, you have third-party management, you have asset managers, you have all these different individuals. And
they're a huge part.
Big part of your team. So, and I'm big on taking care. You got to take care of the take care. You know what I mean? You got to take care of those that are taking care of you, right? Yeah. And so whether you talk about my asset manager, you talk about my property managers, we're on calls weekly, monthly, whatever it may be. But I'm making sure that they understand I appreciate them too.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I think that's extremely important to make sure people feel valued for what they're doing. Although it's your game plan, they have to execute the plays for you, right? So you got to make sure that you're on it, and just making sure that people, you have good people that work for you, that people that actually love what they do. I think if someone's just there for the check, at some point they're going to let you down.
Absolutely.
So just being able to gauge characters, I think is huge. But making sure that everybody's in it for one common goal, which is to make sure whatever that asset is going to be successful.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I had the opportunity to meet a gentleman. He's the former president of Starbucks. Mm-hmm. Name's Howard Behar, but we met in 2014. We just bumped into each other, and he is big on servant leadership. Mm-hmm. Big on servant leadership and serving your team, serving your people. He's also very truthful.
Yeah.
extremely truthful. Like I've learned a lot from him, but taking care of your people is huge.
You have to.
It's huge.
You
yeah.
have to. You have to.
No, it's really good. So what would you say is your biggest challenge of late with your business?
Ooh.
Challenge.
I mean, the financing, right? I think that's going to be the biggest issue for everyone is the financing. But also, honestly, I'm at that point now where I want to scale a little bit, right? And because obviously, in order to scale, your team has to grow. Now, finding the right pieces for your team to grow, I think, is huge. So it's the balancing act of making sure you're not scaling too fast, making sure that the company, the business, can afford to scale, right? So because nobody really wants to pay out of pocket. I know I don't. So I think those are some of the things, the financing piece of it all, like being able to find the right terms that go with whatever deal, or the deal just doesn't make sense. Because banks are tightening up a little bit on the financing side. But overall, though, being able to find the right people to add to your team, I think is, I'm going to say, somewhat of a hiccup right now. But we'll keep looking, and we'll find the right pieces.
Yeah. No, those are two really good ones. I mean, I now been running a company for going on 2 decades, and the people side is huge.
Yeah.
So finding the right people it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
So and it's a challenge when you do find the right people, because they're definitely out there. So to your point, who's on your team?
I also think, sorry to cut you off, but I also think finding the right people is not just, a hard worker. It's someone that actually believes in the philosophy. It's someone that, again, is not just there for a paycheck, but someone that wants to do their job to the best of their ability, to make sure that, hey, they see their worth in what's allowing this thing to keep moving forward, right? So people that believe in the goal, I think is huge. Because if you have a couple folks that just want to show up and just drink coffee and don't want to do anything, that doesn't help anybody. And, I mean, you're not only letting me down, you're letting the other person down that's next to you, right? Again, it's the ultimate team sport. Everyone kind of has to be on board for the success of it all.
Oh, that's good. It's true. It's very true. You want people who not just paycheck, bought in for the whole vision. That's really good. What would you say are your biggest lessons you've learned in the NFL that you've applied to real estate investing?
Biggest lesson. So it's funny. I just did a internship with the Seahawks. I did a coaching internship with the Seahawks for a week.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot, but I didn't do the internship for coaching. I knew, I like coaching. I love giving the game back to the guys. My experience of playing in the NFL for 10 years, I won't be able to, I can't use any of that information anymore, so I might as well give it to the guys. So I love coaching, right?
Yeah.
But the main reason why I took the internship, and I'm grateful that Coach Carroll and Clint Hurt and those guys allowed me to be a part of it, was I wanted to learn the management side of things. Coach Carroll obviously knows what he's doing. He's been doing this for 20 some odd years. He's probably one of the most winningest coaches ever. Yeah. Obviously, as a player, I've seen how it's ran, but now being on the other side of seeing how it's ran. And I wanted to see how he manages the offensive coordinators and how he manages the equipment managers, and then seeing how those guys go downstairs and they manage their coaches and their players, right? And just understanding how that system works, because I want to implement that, because I feel like the NFL, if players pay attention to it, the NFL gives you the blueprint to being able to have success and create your own business and everything else, because the NFL generates $18 billion a year. It knows what it's doing, right? It knows what it's doing. So if we can just pay attention to how it's ran, what's the business side of it, more so than, being emotional about how they treat you as a player, but just learn the business side of it, I think there's so much that can be learned, and you can take with you, whether you talk about the discipline all the way to how you manage players, to how you manage people. Yeah. Like you walk into a meeting room with Coach Carroll and he lays it all out what the expectation is for the day. Every day, we lay out what the expectations are for the day. So guess what I'm going to do when I start having more employees? Every morning, we're going to have meetings. We're going to talk about what the expectation is for the day. We're going to talk about what needs to happen today and what the energy needs to be like for the day. And if I come in there moping, guess what? The rest of your team is going to be moping the rest of the day.
Exactly.
The 70, I don't even know how old Coach Carroll is, but if you watch him, he has the most energy because he understands everybody's going to feed off of that, right? Yeah. So just understanding how all that stuff works, I think is going to be extremely beneficial as I scale and grow.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail right on the head. The blueprint from a successful organization like the Seahawks, you really don't get better. You don't get better than that.
You can't.
And being able, so once you have the blueprint and then taking it, especially now, you continue to grow your real estate company. Like that's one thing I learned when we built our biggest building, the Adriana. I'm like, we're gonna build this
How many
119.
Nice.
And you know what? At the end of the day, it took a long time, and a lot of things went wrong.
Yeah.
And a lot went right. But at the end of the day, we did it. We followed the blueprint, and it's done.
There you go.
It's built. Yes. So, as well as other projects, but so you follow the blueprint, and you get it done. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, and Coach Carroll really has a ton of energy.
All day, every day. I joke with him all the time. It's like, hey, Coach, what do you want? What do you like? I want that same energy. I want that energy now as a 37-year-old. You're 73, 74 years old. And he's been like that from the very first day that I met him 10 years ago. I remember the first time he called me. This is my 5th year in the league. I'm coming off of a decent season. He calls me and he's like, "Hey, man, what do you think about being a Seahawk?" He's super energetic, and I'm like, this feels like college all over again, where they're recruiting you, right? And I'm like, what? This is the NFL. Like, coaches don't talk like this. Most coaches are very militant, very straightforward. No joking around or any of that stuff. Not Coach Carroll. He is all like you got to know you're there to work, but as far as for the energy and everything else, he understands that if he has that energy, everyone else in the building has to have the same energy and has to match it and is going to have a good time while they're at work.
It's amazing that he does have that much energy, but just like you said, for everyone in the organization to have to match his energy, as a leader of the organization, it's phenomenal.
It's very contagious. That's what I've learned. It's very contagious because as a player, I kid you not, my first 2 years being with the Seahawks, I used to be like, I wonder when this light switch is going to turn off. Like, when is he going to come in here and have no energy and be, like the rest of these coaches, But not one time, win, lose, or draw. He comes in with the same positive attitude. Everybody has to know what they're going to do, but he comes in with that positive attitude, and everybody else is positive in the building.
I like the way you said that. When's that light switch? Because I would honestly have the same thought, It's like you meet people, and over time, you see, okay, is this legit? Is this genuine?
Exactly.
And for him to do that continuously,
consistency,
it's how he's wired.
That's just who he is.
Yeah.
But I also think he understands that he has to be consistent with the message. You can't waver. You cannot. I said that earlier, right? You can't go ups. You can't have ups and downs. You have to stay the same. Win, lose, or draw. I don't care if it's the Super Bowl. I don't care if it's preseason. I was in the meeting for a preseason game, and this man is going crazy like it's the Super Bowl. I'm like, it's preseason. These games don't even matter. These games don't even matter.
Yeah.
But that's just who he is, and it's awesome. It's awesome to watch.
Makes you want to watch more, really, because it's like, like the learning from someone like that, and that's so cool that you have that perspective being a player, but now wanted to be the coach to see and learn from that point of view.
Yeah, it was great.
That's cool. We kind of talked about this one, but what's your why?
My why.
What's important to you?
My why is multiple things. My why initially, whether you talk about football or even real estate in general, my why was always my mom. I never lived in a house until I bought her one. I lived in apartments my entire life. And the irony in that is now that I try to buy apartments. It's kind of crazy. But my why was my mom being able to buy her a house at some point. My why now is my boys and my family. the odds of becoming a professional athlete is very hard, and I believe if that's what they want to do, they can do that. They have to put the work in, but more so than anything, I want my kids to understand that you have to, every single day, you have to get your behind up and go to work. Like, you have to work.
Yeah.
And
every day
you have to put work in, because nobody's going to give you anything. Right? Nobody's going to give you anything. I'm not going to give you anything. You know what I mean? Like,
you're not their best friend.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to just hand over anything to you, because I literally, I joke around with them, but in all seriousness too, like my injury, I messed my neck up, right? So like, I literally broke my neck for you guys to be able to live the way you guys live, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna hand over anything, because that's gonna go in vain. Like, you have to work, and you appreciate you appreciate more what you've earned for yourself anyways, right?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So showing my kids that although I might not quote unquote have to work, I get my behind up every single day and I go to work. Either I'm going to the office or I'm in my office at the house, but I'm putting work in, because you have to show them what that looks like. Because if not, they just see me moping around the house and doing a lot of nothing. They see my wife moping around the house doing a lot of nothing. They might think they can have all of this by doing nothing.
Yeah,
and
probably would,
And that's the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah.
So that's another reason, is just being able to show them that, and then also just being able to just generate wealth through real estate, but allowing my friends and family to be a part of the journey. They couldn't put a football helmet on. They couldn't play in front of 60, 70,000 people, but they can be a part of this journey, though. They can be able to create a platform for my family to be able to invest with me in some of my real estate deals, so they can understand what wealth looks like, which is to me, which is cash flow, and your money's working for you, right?
Yeah.
You're making money while you're asleep, right? So being able to create platform, being able to create an avenue for my friends and family to be able to do so, I think is extremely important to me.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good. So Cliff Avril Family Foundation, which is amazing.
Thank you.
That you started that. What have you been working on there? Latest work?
Man, it's funny you say that. So yeah, Cliff Avril Family Foundation. It's crazy to think we're actually celebrating our 10th year of being an organization this year.
Congrats!
Thank you. It's a huge feat, because to do anything for 10 years is difficult.
Yes, it is.
I mean?
Yeah.
So to have an organization that has been giving back to the community for the last 10 years has been great. We actually just came back from Washington, D.C. I have a group of kids, we call them the Cliffs Crew, which are kids that I've been mentoring since they were in 3rd grade. Now, most of my boys are in 8th and 9th grade right now.
Wow.
And it's all about exposure. It's all about exposing them to different opportunities that are here in their own backyard or anywhere. Because I'm a firm believer, you can't dream about things that you don't know exist.
Yeah.
So it's all about taking them to different organizations, different programs, different professions, and making sure that they see these types of things. So we went to Washington, D.C. for a week last week, and took them to the Capitol, took them to the White House, took them to go see some lobbyists, took them to just see a lot of different things, because again, you can't dream about things you don't know exist.
Yeah.
And we think it's important for them to just have exposure to these things. Took them to the FBI too, which I thought was really cool. We had some higher ups from the FBI come talk to them. That's the way
cool.
Around. Yeah, it was a great experience. It was a great experience, and again, exposure, and hopefully one day one becomes a lobbyist, one becomes somebody that works for the FBI or whatever it may be. But you just want to be able to give them the best chance to be able to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And by doing, I mean, that's cool that you're actually flying them out.
Yes.
And showing them. There's one thing to say it.
Exactly. It's another thing to see it and do it, right?
Yeah.
I spent the whole week with them boys, and they're at that age right now too where it's like, all right, guys, you guys need to slow down a little bit, But it's great though. We have a good time. They're all good kids, and they're all getting better. So,
how do you typically start your day? Going into kind of your day.
Every day starts off, for the most part, 4 to 5 days out the week start off with a workout.
Okay.
I roll out of bed, say a prayer, drink a almost, what is that? A big canister of water.
Okay.
Then I head to the gym, get about a good hour workout in. This week actually has been, I'm calling it quote unquote hell week for my son because he's doing 2 a day. So he's working out with me in the morning, and then he's working out playing basketball with a trainer or something like that in the afternoon because he only has one more week before school starts. So we need to make sure he's just getting up and getting in the routine of things. But every morning workout, and then whether it's some kind of cardio with that workout, and then shower and get right back to work. But if I don't workout is kind of where I can set my day. I'm thinking through my day and different things like that, but also getting the blood circulating and all that good stuff. But I feel different when I don't work out. My wife actually notices when I don't work out.
Oh yeah, I bet she does. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes it. Sorry.
No. It just makes, for me at least, just again getting that blood flowing and clarity and prepping for the day. It's awesome.
That's huge. Yeah, I learned actually. I didn't used to work out in the morning, and then Brian, our partner on the Adriana, he played Brian Scalabrine, played in the NBA for a while, but he got me on working out in the morning, and I'm at 30 minutes.
Yeah, No,
but it makes a huge difference.
Most definitely does.
Just the clarity.
The clarity. There's some type of chemicals or something that's running through your body that just wakes you up and preps you for the week, more alert, or for the day, makes you more alert, makes you just have more energy, whatever it may be. And there's nothing better than, jumping in the shower after a good old workout. And you're like, okay, 1, it's over with. And 2, all right, Lion, let's go kick the day's butt too.
Exactly. No, it's good. So we have covered this, but I'd say any other investment principles you live by or have learned of late?
Ooh, investment principles that we live by or have learned of late. I think the biggest thing is what I said earlier, is being patient. But it's on both sides. It's on the buy side and value add side, but also on the side of when opportunities aren't there, to be okay understanding that you're not going to push up against your criteria. You're not going to change your criteria because the circumstances are a little bit different.
Yeah. It's good.
So I think being able to be patient on either side is something that I'm learning more and more about, but also not wavering. I don't care what the market does. Don't budge on your criteria. You know what I mean? Don't budge on on what you think works for you, your game plan. You know, you can't when things. Again, another football analogy. When you have a turnover, the quarterback throws an interception. You can't pout. You got to go out there and stop them, right? Yeah. But you can't. And when you're up 20, you can't get so high that you can't do your job, right? So staying level and sticking to your criteria, I think, is huge.
No, it's good. It's true. You really do have to do that. I mean, you'll pass on a lot more deals doing that. Yeah. But it's the only way to do it.
1,000%. Or you find yourself. I've heard stories that you'll find yourself in a sticky spot. When you just start trying to fit that round peg in a square hole, or is it the other way around? But you know what I mean. Square in a
square
round
peg in a round hole.
One of them. You can't.
They both make sense.
It doesn't belong. It doesn't belong.
Oh, that's good. So really, you live your life intentionally, Cliff. Can definitely tell that from day one, which is amazing. But one of my favorite books that I read is a book called Shoe Dog. You ever read that book?
Yeah, Phil Knight.
Have you read?
I haven't read it yet. I heard it's amazing though. I actually have it. I have the book. I just haven't made it to it yet.
Okay. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's a great book. He goes into detail on so many different levels. And it's funny too. Yeah. Like I literally, not a lot of books I'm laughing. I was like laughing at some of the stories. So just a really good book. But one of the sections in that book, it's like a Saturday morning, I'm reading this book. So I'm like, man, the section in this book really reminded me of Howard BR. So I'm like, man, I'm just taking a picture. I'm gonna send this to Howard. So take a picture of the book, that page, and I send it to Howard. And he sends me a message right back, just 3 words. I live that. I live that. And that, like, even just because Howard just like what he says he lives. So what helps you stay focused when things get hard? would you say?
I love it. I love it. That's a great question.
Because it's not easy, you know, like we're
No,
talking
not at all.
when you're going through and you're building a business or, you know.
There's a quote that I used to kind of go by when I played, and it's keep the main thing the main thing. And all that really means is no matter what's going on in life, no matter what's going on in the game, no matter what's going on with your coaches and with their contracts, whatever it might be going on, what's keeping your goal and your and that keeping that at the top of mind, right? I mentioned this earlier. Getting my mom a house was extremely important to me. So that overrode that overrided anything. Is it overrode or overridden? Whatever.
Good question.
It was nothing could put a damper or shadow that one goal, that one mission.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's 100 degrees outside, and I don't feel like working out today, or whatever the case may have been. That was the finish line that I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that mark moves once you get to it. You start having kids, start having family, start having all these different things.
Yeah.
But once, and I'm low-key kind of have an obsessive trait. And what I mean by that is once I'm focused and locked in on something,
there's nothing going to stop you.
Nothing's going to stop me. Like, I'm all in. My wife, she knows that to the point where she's like, oh my gosh, okay. You're locked in right now. I'm going to leave you alone. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I true, like, once I say I'm going to do something, I don't care how hard, or I don't care who says I can't, because there's going to be naysayers. That just comes with it.
Always.
But I'm going to be locked in, and I'm going to put my best foot forward every single day till I get to the finish line of that.
That's good. That's really good. The word that comes to mind is focus.
You have to stay focused.
That focus that you have, especially obviously making it to not only making it to the NFL, but the level of play and success that you had, and now doing it in the real estate side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the level of focus is.
You have to stay focused, but not just that, right? And most people aren't disciplined enough. Should I say a lot of people, to be politically correct, I guess.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, aren't disciplined enough to every single day do something and not necessarily know when you're going to get to the finish line, but understanding that if you put the work in daily, you will get there at some point, right? To be able to do something day in and day out, it's hard. It gets redundant. It's all these different things, but to still get up on day 100 to do that again, most people are going to, you know what? I haven't seen any results. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to quit. And I guarantee you one thing about it. If you quit, you're never going to get there. But if you stay in the race, at least you give yourself a chance, right? So I think that discipline or that drive, that obsession, I think is honestly what has allowed me to do what I've been able to do so far in my life, whether you talk about football and now kind of transition into the real estate space.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, that level of focus is critical.
Yeah.
That's critical. I've been really challenged by Howard, actually. We have a kind of an inside joke at the office. We spell focus with 2 F's because...
What's the second one?
I won't say it, but you know.
When I asked, I knew what it was.
I'll be challenged, because the one thing I love about Howard is he's real, and he doesn't hold punches. He cares, but then tells the truth. I'm like,
that's the best way
focus,
to be.
And he'll challenge me to focus at another level, and that's what it takes. If you, and it's not for just the day. But you got to do it every day. But it's for the long haul.
1,000%.
So
1,000%.
No, it's really good. So to end the interview, can you maybe share a story or two of your time with the Seahawks that maybe some of our readers? Cliff's going to be on the cover of our magazine, which we're excited about. But that maybe would be great to hear or read about.
Oh man, I mean, there's with all the characters that we had on our team, whether you talk about Michael Bennett, who's my best friend, you talk about Richard Sherman, Marshawn Lynch,
A lot of characters.
A lot of characters and a lot of personalities.
Big personalities.
But the one thing I would say, and I would leave with the readers, is, and I think you can implement this and put this in this would work for most in any business, is although we had all these different personalities, and I mean different personalities, very vocal on so many different things, everyone respected one another. And then everyone understood in order for them to be the superstars that they were, they needed everyone else. And what I mean by that is someone like Richard Sherman, where him and I don't play the same position. Most people wouldn't even think twice to even make sense that they're needed. But Richard Sherman appreciated me just as much as I appreciated him, because we both made each other's jobs easier.
Yeah, it's so good.
You see what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is, from a football perspective, is Richard Sherman understood that if I got a great pass rush, if I don't get the sack, most likely I'm going to force the quarterback to throw the ball quick. Guess who's going to be there to get the interception? And vice versa. I understood that if he held on and covered this guy for 3 seconds, 3 seconds is more than enough time for me to get to the quarterback, right? So it's a chain fence or chain links. And we needed one another to be able to make sure we were going to have the success we're going to have. So I think no matter what the office space might look like, people with different backgrounds, people from different areas, different beliefs, but long as respect is there and we all understand that we need each other to get to the goal line.
Yeah, it's so good.
The sky's the limit for that organization.
Yeah.
And now it's very hard to do. It's very hard to capture that because ego gets in the way sometimes, because, that person makes more than me, or I should be making more than them. And, the pride and all that stuff can creep in a little bit.
Yeah.
But if we keep the main thing, and understanding that we need one another and we have to have respect for one another to be able to get whatever that goal is to the actual goal line and score touchdowns and whatever other analogy we want to use, I think that is the recipe for success.
No, it's so good. And you guys won a Super Bowl as a result.
Yes, exactly. We won a Super Bowl, but it also shows that till this day, we all connect on a lot of different things.
Wow.
We whether it's birthday parties, whether it's, like I've traveled the world with Michael Bennett. Like I didn't meet Michael until I got here to Seattle. Now he's one of my best friends. So being able to do so many different things with one another outside of the actual job, I think that made it more meaningful when we did get to work, to understand that now I'm not just doing this for me. I'm not even just doing this for you, Michael. I'm doing this for your kids because I actually know them.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for your wife because we're a close-knit family now, right? So I think that also is what allowed us to be so good for so long with the Seahawks, and I try to implement that into my business as well.
Yeah, it's amazing that you guys, with having such big personalities and different personalities, were able to respect each other and see the best in each other to be able to go to the level that you did.
Yeah.
How did you get past differences, would you say, to have that respect?
I think it was a genuine thing. Now, you have to have some leaders in the locker room, obviously. You have to have some guys that, hey, you guys you might be taking it too far. But it's rarely, and it's just like any family, too. There will be fights.
Absolutely.
There will be arguments. But
that's normal.
That's normal. That's normal. There will be altercations. There will be times where, somebody's mad about whatever. But having enough respect to put it behind you after the fact is one. And then two, understanding that I've gotten so many fights with my oldest brother, but you can't tell me he doesn't love me and vice versa, right? Sometimes fights actually bring you closer, and those
bring resolution.
And brings resolution, exactly. Yeah. So I think us being able to have these arguments and different things like that, but also being able to understand that that's still my brother over there. I need him just as much as he needs me. My family needs him just as much as his family needs me. Like making it much deeper than just about yourself sometimes, I think allows you to be able to have that success.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, that's great. Well, Thanks for coming on.
Oh, man.
Thanks for being on the cover. I was excited
Thank you.
to meet you, for you to be on the cover. We're honored to have you, Cliff.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys. This is awesome. This is a great opportunity as well to be a part of this. And yeah, let's hopefully it does well.
Absolutely. It will. Well, appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.